Good morning, everyone. This morning I brought along an apple. And yes, it is a Michigan apple. I made sure of that when I stopped at Horrocks this morning. Move these items out of the way. Here we go. So we're going to start off by just imagining that this apple is the world. So it represents the world this morning. If we cut it, into quarters, woo, it's juicy. What would you conclude that 3 of these sections represent? What would these 3 sections represent of the world? Water. You got it. So that would mean that this remaining section would be the land. That's right. So let's section this piece one more time. So now we have the land represented in 2 pieces. This 1/8 section of the apple represents the land that is inhospitable to people and food, meaning that this other section would be able to support people and food production, possibly. Let's then section this 4 times. So we're going to make 30 seconds, 32 of this apple. I've got 3 of these sections here, so 3 30 seconds of this apple represents land that would be suitable for people to live on, but possibly not food production. Leaving this 1/32 of an apple with the possibility of producing food on that land. If we take this skin that's on this apple, it's green. If we take this green skin, suitable for being at MSU today, if we take that skin off of this small section of land, this represents the topsoil that is available to us to help us produce food for our growing population. So today, as we share in dialogue about technology use in agriculture and conserving our natural resources, remember this green skin on this apple, and that's the precious topsoil that we in agriculture and conservationists need to really value in our daily practices of caring for the land and growing food. So let's dive into it a little bit. So farming has changed, definitely. We've got a plow here, and now look at this tractor that's rolling across the field. What do you think of when you hear the word environment? What are some words that pop into your head? Just shout them out.
Outdoors.
Outdoors.
Green.
Green. Pollution. What other words? Environment.
My life.
Your life. Sure thing. We'll take one more.
Surrounds us. Everything that surrounds us.
Sure thing. What about environmental stewardship? Kind of hot topic, buzzwords. All throughout there, sustainability. What's some others?
People.
People?
Using the land to the best of its ability to produce whatever it is we're trying to produce.
Sure. So maximizing potential.
There you go.
Let's take 2 more. Environmental stewardship.
Global team.
What's that again?
Global team.
Global team. And you, sir?
Policy.
Policy. Okay. Michigan agriculture. 10 million acres of farmland here within our Great Lakes state. We produce more than 300 commodities. We're only the 2nd most diverse agricultural state, the first one being California. The agriculture industry here in Michigan generates $101.2 billion annually. The agriculture industry is on an upswing. Today I'm going to chat a little bit about Michigan Farm Bureau and our members' responsibility for environmental stewardship and also their passion for the land and natural resources. Michigan Farm Bureau is the state's largest general farm organization. We have 46,500 farming families. Are there any members in the room today? Mr. Williams, I know that you're a Farm Bureau member. And Dave, what do you farm?
Soybeans, corn, and wheat.
Great.
Crops.
And are you meat verified? Is that right?
Our farm is meat verified at the homestead and the cropping level.
Great. Congratulations, and thanks for your dedication. We at Farm Bureau strive to keep our members informed of changing regulations and to promote environmental stewardship. We have 67 county farm bureaus across the state, so there's a lot of different counties and a lot of different diverse agriculture. When we think about the northwest corner of this state, we're talking orchards, where maybe this apple came from. When we talk the southeast, maybe it's more cash crops. And we also cover the Upper Peninsula. Our policies, and you had mentioned policy, are developed locally by our members. We are a grassroots organization. I brought along our policy book today, and each of these policies is developed by our members. In each year we produce a new book, and this 2015 edition contains 105 policies. And they're reviewed annually at our annual meeting. This is the room of all of the delegates from 67 county farm bureaus who come and represent the policies that mean the most to them. So at a local level, at a county farm bureau, let's say I'm from Allegan County, and I'm a member there. Or Laura, what county are you from? Ingham. So Laura could participate if she were a member in Ingham County Farm Bureau. And if Laura was really passionate about a certain topic, let's say conservation districts, Laura could write a resolution at the local level about conservation districts. She could share that with her local county farm bureau, and they have a multitude of different topics that they're passionate about. And they submit them to the state level, the Policy Development Committee, where we receive about 800 policies at the state level. So farmers represent all areas of the state to be a state committee, and they review about 800 policies that come in from across the state. Now they're not all written down because now we have, this is a technology seminar, they can submit them electronically. If they're combining their crops and they think of something that is policy related, they can simply get on with their smartphone and submit a policy resolution. We're getting better at that. The state committee brings their proposals to the delegate floor and they vote on them. They also speak about them. Our members make sure that the policies say exactly what they want them to. Our members write the policy and we as staff are charged to execute that policy. We have microphones and the members go up, and if the policy is not accurate in what they'd like it to say, they tweak it, make motions, and make resolutions that ultimately make up this policy. Our lobbyists at Farm Bureau use this book as they go downtown to lobby in the halls of the Capitol about agriculture issues, road funding, natural resources, food safety, you name it, we've got a lot in here, taxes. These are the policies that associate to agriculture and environmental issues, anything from forestry to air quality, invasive species, water use. If you're interested in learning more about our policies, they're available online at our website, mishfb.com. So if you're interested in any of those topics, it's searchable online. So I just want to provide a snapshot of a few of the policies that relate to today's topics. We have policy number 71, Environmental Protection and Authority. And a few statements urge members to voluntarily implement pollution prevention practices. The development of nutrient management plans for all farms. Using MEEP verification, like Mr. Williams is MEEP verified, and the farmer's care message as the base for projecting a positive image to the public. Advancing to policy 78, non-point source pollution and watershed management, our members would like to see the continuation of cost share provided to producers for conservation practices. And furthermore, that protecting surface and groundwater is a priority, and the Ag does share the responsibility with many others. That non-point source pollution programs implemented by different agencies should reflect a coordinated, integrated, and consistent management approach. So these are items, just a short and small snapshot of what our members are asking for in their policy book, which is reviewed annually, and what we do on their behalf to try to advocate for these different things affecting law or different programs or items that are delivered to agriculture as an industry. Different tools that are reflected in policy and that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, conservation districts, NRCS, which I see Sean is in the room today, and also the MEEP program. Since 1982, careful stewardship has created a 50% decline in erosion of cropland. Conservation tillage on cropland while using less energy has grown from 17% of acreage in 1982 to 63% today. At the same time, total land used for crops declined by 15%. Farmers, ranchers, and landowners have installed more than 2 million miles of conservation buffers under Farm Bill initiatives. The MEEP program, Scott had mentioned that earlier. How many of you are aware of the MEEP program? Lots of us, definitely. So we've celebrated more than 2,500 verifications. The program is growing each and every day. We've also added a new system, the Forest, Wetland, and Habitat System, to have a whole farm approach. And as more and more farmers like Mr. Williams are engaging with their conservation district, learning about those cost share programs and how to make a positive impact on the environment while continuing their livelihood, the program will continue to grow and will continue to protect the Great Lakes. It's about local technical assistance, confidentiality. It's a voluntary program. And it also is one that can make a farmer feel proud. They are able to have a sign out in front of their yard. Lots of those dot the landscape. So let's talk a little bit about technology use in ag. And I have a few different examples, and I am sure that all of you could probably think of these and many, many, many more. And I hope that in the session after the break, when there's some dialogue, that more and more of these examples are shared. Let's talk about drones. There's a picture of one right there. I have a few pictures that a farmer that's in our leadership program, he's in our young farmer category, so he's probably mid-20s. He owns a drone company, and he sells drones and is contracted out to provide data. So there's one of his drones, an aerial view of that flying over. One more with crops there grown. You can even see where the tractor turned around there at the end. And some of the data mapping that is provided by it. Corey is the name of this farmer in Huron County. He's a cash crop and beef farmer. Drone technology is the next step in becoming more efficient on our farms and helping timely decisions by being able to look at the whole field during the growing season to predict yield, locate tile in the spring, see crop damage or scout pests rather than just looking at parts of it by walking or driving by. So instead of diagnosing a whole field based on one problem that is seen in 7 acres that they walk through, it could be a 42-acre field. Well, why not prescribe a practice or a solution for that 7 acres instead of the whole field? Drone technology can fly across, get that plant health perspective, and diagnose individual problems based on that type of mapping. Variable rate technology. I remember when my dad had GPS put into his tractor, and that was quite a few years ago. And just think about what we're doing with it now. Real-time data, fertilizer application, a lot of tractors have GPS. And you're able to have a prescription instead of mass applying a fertilizer or a pesticide. You're able to document exactly where that soil type is that needs that type of nutrient or the plant, and to be able to go across and fluctuate exactly what that ground is prescribed for under the variable rate technology. Aerial seeding of cover crops. This isn't new. We're probably all familiar with what cover crops do and the benefit that they provide, but just think about aerial applying them. it wouldn't be as cost effective for one farmer to have a plane come out. But let's say that through the Conservation District or NRCS office, maybe a dozen farmers were interested in land applying their cover crops. That's more cost effective to have the plane come out and run those entire acres in a day's time and make it worth their time to come on up. How about smartphones? How many of you in the audience today have a smartphone? Lots of us, yes. Do any of you have agriculture apps? Sure. Sir in the back, what is the app that you have on your phone?
It actually calculates the nutrient demands of various crops.
Okay, so tell us how that works. If you were to be out in a field and have your phone, tell us how that works.
So you would just determine what yield you want from a crop, say a corn crop, and then you punch that in, and it will take and tell you what the removal rates of that would be. Then you could combine that with your soil test to see what you actually need to apply.
Sure. Is it pretty user-friendly?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, would you recommend it to your clients?
Sure.
Yeah. Others? Dave, I saw that you had your hand up. Do you have an ag app?
How many do you want?
Give us your top two.
I use an app for marketing commodities to see where the markets are, to get suggestions. There's an app that I use for tank mixing spray, agricultural spray. There's a number of them.
Great. I see you have your iPad with you today too.
I do.
That's great. So there's a number of apps. Scouting for pest management, for integrated pest management, that you're only tackling those pests that need to be, and you're doing it at the right rate and not over applying for no reason. Nitrogen application, record keeping, Excel spreadsheets. I was reading articles that the smartphone can tell you if you've got a grain cart that's going and it's unloading, it'll tell you that that grain cart is still unloading on that semi. So keep doing what you're doing until that grain cart's done, and then you'll be able to unload again. Yes?
I forgot to mention probably one of the most important new ones, because we're just learning how to use it, and that is an app that will analyze the weather and the rainfall and give recommendations for variable rate nitrogen application on our corn.
Great. That would be very valuable. Kind of along with what Dave was saying, EnviroWeather, hosted right here at MSU. Temperature, rainfall, wind direction and speed, overnight temperature, pest life cycles. Nick Schweitzer, a Kent County farmer, said specifically about the EnviroWeather program that growers follow it closely and it is an invaluable asset. So farmers are recognizing that this technology exists to help make conservation management programs while being resourcefully smart about their dollars and their inputs on the land. Nick also said that our goal is to use technology to lower our impact on the environment, lower inputs, increase efficiency, provide a higher quality product, and feed more people per farmer than ever before. Does anyone know how many people one farmer feeds? You know the latest statistic? I'm thinking it's about 155 people. So an American farmer can feed 155 people. Sorry, we can't email your pizza as attachment. Wouldn't that be cool if we could send food via the internet? So we might not be able to email people their food, but we can surely utilize technology in conserving this little slice of this apple, this skin. We can use technology to conserve our topsoil and produce food and provide it to people around the world. And I'm looking forward to the rest of today's discussion. Thank you.